Hi there everyone, welcome back to On the Flip Side. My name is Adam Shawalker, your host, and today we're going to be checking out the new album W from the legendary experimental rock artist Boris. Boris have been around for about 30 years now and have put out around 20 or so records with collaborators like Sun and Merzbow. It's really not hard to see why Boris has had such an interesting discography with albums that dip their toes into drone, ambient, and noise rock. And this new album is no different in the regards of explorative gravitas. There's a lot of thoughtful moments on this album that blend all manners of the more experimental side of music with tracks like I Want to Go to the Side Where You Can Touch and Invitation. Boris generally take a live recording approach when putting together albums with as minimal overdubbing as possible, which makes this as well as their other releases incredibly impressive. There's consistent experimentation with subtle mood variations on nearly every track of the record, with tense glitch work blended with an ambient sensibility that would make Brian Eno proud. The sounds this album wrestles with from track to track are all very flooring, with a big focus on ambient and drone for this record. Every moment seems calculated, every crushing wave of sound held tense until release, everything right where it belongs. So right off the bat you have the first song, I Want to Go to the Side Where You Can Touch. This song has a strong post-rock into very reminiscent early 2000s kind of bands like Mount Silver Zion or Godspeed You Black Emperor. The vocal work is slow and hypnotic, layered over dense waves of drone and tribalistic beatings of drums. Even as this seemingly calm track progresses, the entire song is still incredibly loud. The drones on this song again are incredibly pervasive. The vocals echo and bleed into the left and right channels in an almost intimate whisper. This is a beautiful and bold choice for an opener track. The next track is Isolina, a track that stands out with a very neat, almost vaporwave sound that I'd compare to some of Blank Banshee's work. This song really seems to be trying to push you into a trance-like hole with the gentle melodies and delicate reverb this track swims in. The way that Boris have put the song together in a live setting is utterly impressive. The synth work is gentle but very much the drawing instrument here. The vocal work again is hair-raising in its delivery. I love the sound and I love this song. Up next is Drowning by Numbers. This song hits a lot harder on the noise and drone experience that this band has had, with another incredibly trance-heavy song that builds and builds and builds this repeating rhythm that just loops and loops, with the only thing that seems to be upping the tension and urgency being the synth work. Again, this is a great reach into post-rock and industrial sounds with an almost modern Swans approach mixed with some Einstürzende Neubauten. The second segment of this track distinguishes itself from the first in a really clever way, in that it kind of amps up the violence of the synth work and progresses the lyrics from this sort of upward counting of 1 to 5 to a count from 5 to 6. And it's not that there's too much that actually changes from the first to the second track, or the first to the second parts of the track, but that it's just that they've layered these slightly different things on top of each other and they just keep building and building the whole thing. It's a really great track. Up next is Invitation. This is a short but slow building track that builds on the last few tracks' formulas, slowly gaining in volume and presence. The sound this song corners is this almost absence of tempo. It's incredibly slow and tense. The drone wave they use for the song feels like a void that they're just trying to kind of suck you into. There's some really cool sequence synth parts in certain parts of the track too, but the whole song is a very subdued experience. The next song is The Fallen. Here we get the first proper Doom style track on the record, though this is far from just a Doom track. There's a lot of noise and drone on this song, like many of their most well-known works. This song is a crazy whining, grinding noise that accompanies most of the song in waves of feedback. The guitar tone on this song is razor sharp and cries over the top of the mix. The way the track falls back into itself with echoes and reverb effects is sweet, and I love the hefty drum work that helps hammer home the violence in this song's sound. The last minute of the song is incredibly bizarre, with what sounds like samples of like slot machines, heavy cymbal crashes, and what could be actual explosions. It's just a really interesting listen. Up next is Beyond Good and Evil. This song ramps down the sludge again for another gentle swing intro with more dreamlike guitar work that accompanies that clean vocal work into what I would describe as an almost shoegaze track. This song sounds a little bit like a throwback to the Akuma no Uta days with a fresher sound. I think this second half of the song is almost soundtrack-like, with such an intense rising sound that cuts right at the end for a really cool, clean finish. Great track. The next song is Old Projector. This song is a wash of reverb that grows larger and larger as the sound progresses. The ambient subdued sound here is almost desperate sounding. There's kind of a sense of urgency and decay in the way that the imperfection of the notes and waves falls off that's incredibly beautiful. The song uses these drone backing tracks again for most of the song that's incredibly captivating up until the final minutes of the song, which are a strong lo-fi sludge assault which slowly melts apart in the fuzz of the song and then abruptly just ends. This is a baffling but interesting track that I really dig. The second to last track is You Will Know. This is the longest song on the album, around 9.5 minutes. This song kicks off with another feedback-heavy drone that sounds like it could even be like an EBO for a guitar. There's some really cool sounds that could be sampled, but it's hard to say knowing the live nature of these recordings. The drone fades back a bit for a slow drum and vocal trade-off with some really cool bass work wedged into the back of the track. Boris have found such a brilliant way to seemingly take all of the most unwieldy, loud, specific, and hard-to-place effects that have managed to make them all work together in harmony with each other, and it's frankly unbelievable how they did it, because this song just has so many effects all used at the same time. It's hard to imagine how they could have made this song work. There's also a really cool vocal effect that they use on this song too, as a layering effect with the main vocal track, kind of like a call and response in some segments, and at other times it like lays right over the main track. They just lay over each other. It's a very delicate dance that every part is playing in this song. The way that the noise is so controlled is just brilliant. The song is a borderline religious experience. The final song on the album is Josan, also the shortest track. It's a very quiet guitar solo that's kind of cool, but ultimately a little bit disappointing considering how good all of the other songs are on this record. I mean, it's really like they turn like the actual volume level of the track down so much compared to the rest of the songs on the album. And I mean, seeing as it's just this short, quiet track, I'm kind of just going to assume that this is a bonus track and it doesn't really take that much away from the record, seeing as it's just so short. But anyway, Boris has meticulously put together this very excellent post-rock record with all kinds of influences blended in. I did not really know what to expect going into this album, as there's been so many different sounds that Boris has toyed around with, and to find what is ultimately a weirdly accessible record compared to a lot of their other material is kind of unexpected. Of course, there's still a lot of effort needed to take everything in during some of these walls of sound. The majority of this album is still very much a pleasure to listen to. W is a firm 9. Thank you all so much for watching again. I appreciate all of the support. If you liked this video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. Also check out my Reverb store and my Instagram. Links to those are both in the description below. Thank you all so much again, and we'll see you on the flip side.